By far and without contest, the most important event coming up for Tesla investors is the annual shareholder meeting next month, on June 13th. Tesla just released a new letter to shareholders asking for their votes to support two especially important proposals. Proposal 3 is to reincorporate Tesla to Texas, and Proposal 4 is to ratify the 2018 CEO Performance Award. In addition to this letter, Tesla has also launched an ad campaign to reach more retail Tesla stock shareholders. But why are they doing this? Are they desperate? Or perhaps it's a legal requirement? As a bonus, we'll also review what Adam Jonas of Morgan Stanley wrote in his note about the importance of this vote to the Tesla stock. We got Hans Nelson joining us. Welcome, Hans.
Thanks for having me, Herbert.
All right. Let's take a look at this. This is likely, in my mind, the most important event that's happening to Tesla. We need to ratify this proposal. We need to get these two proposals approved, and we need to get more retail investors to vote. So please do that. So let's take a look at this. The letter that Tesla sent out starts off by saying, "Dear fellow stockholder, we need your vote on two especially important proposals at this year's annual stockholders meeting. Proposals that are critical to the continuation of Tesla's mission and extraordinary growth." So this is what the letter looked like. I'll review it in more detail. You've got these two proposals. Vote for Proposal 3, reincorporating Tesla in the state of Texas, and vote for Proposal 4, ratification of the 2018 CEO Performance Award. These proposals are critical to Tesla's future. These two proposals are incredibly important to the future of our company and to your present and future investment. You voted to approve the 2018 CEO Performance Award 6 years ago. Time has shown the wisdom of your collective judgment. You have the chance to uphold the outcome of your vote, make your voice and your vote heard by voting for these two proposals today. So this letter came out. What's your thoughts about the letter itself and what they're asking for here?
Yeah, let's just give a little bit of context for anyone who doesn't understand why Tesla is proposing these two things. So, obviously, anyone who has heard about the Delaware court case where Elon's compensation package was overturned by a judge in Delaware, that is why Tesla has decided, hey, we need to reapprove that um, compensation package, and we're going to go through all of the requirements that the judge in Delaware asked to make sure. She basically said, we're going to pretend like that vote had never happened, and the reason that we're going to pretend that it never happened was because I don't believe that you made all of the proper, and you being Tesla, made all of the proper disclosures about the relationship that Elon had with the board. And so I believe that they are rectifying that. They're making whatever new additional disclosures are necessary, which these were, Tesla didn't specifically not disclose things. There were unclear, potentially, requirements that are being imposed retroactively on Tesla that they are now just having to be extra clear, even more clear, in order to pass muster on what the judge in Delaware had asked for. And so Tesla's addressing that, but because this court in Delaware kind of really colored outside the lines of legal precedent, and this judge was very, very creative in the way that she wrote her decision, which is not something that you want in a judge who is presiding over the way that your company does business. One of the things that companies want, and this is something that Delaware was known for, is they want consistency. They want to know from year to year that they're going to have to abide by the same set of rules that they had to abide by in the past. That way, they don't have to worry about unknown unknowns. And this decision by the court in Delaware was really a monumental decision. It was breaking with decades and decades worth of legal precedent in Delaware to start to interpret some of the rules that they have in a new and creative way. And so that is a risk that is not something that most companies are going to want to deal with. And as the first company subjected to these new and creative decisions, Tesla decided, hey, we want to go to a state where we have higher confidence in the stability of the types of rulings that are made by the court system that's overseeing us. And so that's why they proposed to move to Texas, or that's why they proposed to leave Delaware. And then Texas just happened to be where they decided to move to. The Mostly, I think, based on the fact that this is where their headquarters is, and so it's more convenient for them to operate here. And so that's why we're here as a retail shareholder who believes in the long term potential of Tesla. And really, my main investment thesis in Tesla has to do with artificial intelligence. It's very important to me that Elon has the confidence that they are in the right jurisdiction, and B, that he has enough voting control in the company to be able to shepherd that well. And he's not asking for 50% control. He's aiming to get to 25%, and his compensation package from 2018 helps move him a lot closer to that 25%. It doesn't get him all the way there, but if that is overturned and he does not receive that 2018 compensation package, then it makes it harder for them to do whatever the next thing is to get him to that 25% control. And so that's why they are making these proposals in the first place. And then I'm not sure entirely why they feel like they need to be, running paid advertisements and doing some of the things that they're doing to ensure that shareholders vote. I do remember back in, I think it was 2020, and some people might be able to fact check and go back and find, but there were several shareholder proposals that were relatively or sorry, not shareholder, um, Tesla company proposals that were important that ended up not passing. And it wasn't because they didn't have a high enough vote yes to no ratio. It was because they needed, I think, more than 60 or 65% of shares to be voted, and the minimum number of shares to be voted were not voted, and so they didn't have enough participation in that vote in order for the vote to pass. And so it could be that that proposal 3 and 4 are subject to that, and so they may be very confident that they have the right ratio, that the shareholders will approve it. But if they don't get the necessary number of votes, then that the resolutions could still fail. And so I think that's one possible reason why they are trying to incentivize and just communicate and remind people, hey, this is a vote that's coming up. This is a vote that's taking place, and please vote. That way they have enough people that are participating.
Mhm. Okay. So there's three potential reasons. Thank you for going through that. The first reason is, the reason the very first time, 2018, the judge was even able to rescind it was because she said not enough shareholders knew what was happening, and you need to educate them. So number one is, let's do everything, ads, let's do videos, let's try to make sure people are aware of this, letters. The second one is like what you just said, right? Maybe some of these things, you need to get a certain number to get in order for it to even count. They want to make sure that that happens. The third reason could be that they're seeing that the numbers aren't showing up in their favor, that they're getting concerned. And now that is something that I think we all need to be worried about, because this is likely the most important event that's going to happen to Tesla as a future, present, and even the stock, of course. Elon, what's going to happen to him? We want to incent him properly for the new future, but we want to make sure that he gets paid what he was deserved. So if we look at what happened here, that you've got the letter that was just sent that we just reviewed, but we also had Robin Denholm, the board chair of Tesla's board, and she asked, "We're asking your voices to be heard and to vote for these proposals." So they didn't just,
Robin Denholm, Chair of the Tesla Board of Directors. On June 13th, we will hold our annual meeting of stockholders. This year, we have two especially important proposals that we have put forward, and we need your vote. These proposals are absolutely critical to fuel Tesla's future growth and the value of your investment.
Yeah. So I won't go through all of it, but basically, as you saw there, that's, the chairwoman of the board, going out and doing a video. So this is very important. And now this is the news that we just saw here is Sawyer Merritt is actually reported that Tesla is now running paid advertisements on Google Search and X, encouraging Tesla shareholders to vote in the upcoming stockholder meeting. These are examples of these advertisements. It says here, this one is stockholders, you deserve the final say on matters affecting your investment in Tesla. Learn how to vote for Tesla's proposal 3 and 4 and make your voice heard. Let's vote for Tesla's proposals 3 and 4. Protect your rights, protect Tesla. I like that. That's good. Another approach is protect your investment, bring Tesla home to Texas. And then here is the same words, I think, pretty well to preserve present and future value creation by supporting Tesla, protect your rights and your investment. Absolutely. It's crazy, crazy that a judge was able to overturn what shareholders had voted for already in like overwhelming numbers. 73% of retail shareholders or retail shareholders had voted for that comp plan in 2018. And now we're here. Thoughts on these advertisements?
It's good to see them using these. It's funny that, this is at least Tesla has definitely been venturing into, paid advertisements recently. So this isn't the first time that they have done something like this at all. But like I said, it's good to see them trying to get the word out as much as possible, get it in front of everyone that is a shareholder. And as they say, this is extremely important. I definitely much prefer the votes of real shareholders to be the things that make decisions for our company than, creative rulings by some unelected judge in Delaware who is not following with, the consistent rulings of that court in the past in order to try and be punitive towards Elon specifically.
Yeah. So some people, this is their reply. Futures Tesla is going, seems desperation. And also seems like Elon doesn't have a plan B. That does not seem right. Um,
I
Hans,
mean,
that
I
does
don't
not
know how
seem right
you
that
would
they
know
wouldn't have a
that.
plan B. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from all the legal experts that we've been talking to and reviewing, that this is the easiest way. Do this. If you can switch to Texas, that's the actually some people have said that that is the most important. Switch to Texas, incorporation in Texas, because that allows them to then do the next plan and some others. But this is important to try to get this as the easiest path. But I guess advertisement you could feel that way, right? I'm not going to take it away from that. That is kind of concerning, but also the points that we just made, right? That that could be one option, but the other one, as Christopher Dungeon said, likely suggested by Tesla's legal team to broadcast max communication to shareholders. Because if you do this, then there's no that you've removed any chance that another judge or even this judge could say, well, this path it has to be rescinded again. Can't do that. It's got to show, hey, we communicated like all we could possibly do. Chansu Bayon said, I believe Tesla is doing this in order to more representation from the retail shareholders, representation even more than the previous one, to use this as another evidence to fight back Delaware. What you thinking about that?
I mean, it's definitely possible. And this is the way that you would want to reach retail shareholders. And, if Tesla really believes that this has a material financial impact on the future of the company, then it makes sense to spend money in advertising to maximize that treaty or not treaty. It makes a lot of sense to maximize the reach of that message to ask shareholders, whether retail or institutional, but in this context, it'll be mostly retail to participate in that vote.
Mhm. Let's take a look now at what Morgan Stanley said. Morgan Stanley says Adam Jonas dropped a new, sorry, Adam Jonas, but this is what they say. So the first thing they said was June 13th shareholder vote. Can Tesla and AI coexist? They said, we see Tesla's June 13th shareholder vote as having significance to the long term strategic direction of the company. While impossible to predict the outcome, we expect the event could drive material volatility in the stock. So in this note, they spend a lot of time saying that this is a big deal. And June 13th is going to affect the stock. What's your thoughts on that, Hans? Can it is that definitely going to affect the stock?
I think it has a high likelihood that it will affect the stock one way or the other. That if it doesn't pass, I think that introduces one of the things that shareholders on Wall Street hate the most into the story, and that's uncertainty. If it doesn't pass, then there will be questions about, is Elon staying? How is he going to get to his 25% voting stake? a lot of questions kind of become cemented, and those become open questions. And I don't think that that's going to have a positive impact on the stock. I think it's probably going to be highly negative. On the flip
Right.
side, if that vote actually passes, if we pass 3 and 4, then I think that removes a lot of uncertainty, and the removal of that uncertainty, I think that that is an uncertainty overhang that is already on the stock. It could get worse, but if these votes pass, then it would get much better, and that could have a material positive impact on the stock. Now, it's possible that that's part of what we have seen, recently with the improvements or the run up from the 160s to 180, is that maybe some of that overhang is getting lifted. It's hard to say, but I would be surprised if we saw those votes pass and then subsequently see, the share price actually go down. But I've made much worse predictions about short-term stock movements in the past, so don't put any faith in my opinion on that standpoint.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I agree with you. It's hard to know what's going to happen to the stock, but this certainly is a big one because you're talking about Elon Musk. You're talking about his future. What can he do to the stock? What can he do to the company? And so, and the uncertainty, I think, is the right point that you made that. So it's very critical that we all vote. Um, Here is what Adam Jonas continues to say, that it's an issue of control. Tesla is the only firm within Elon Musk's related companies, the Muskonomy, where he does not have control or a blocking minority vote. While each of Elon Musk companies are in some way or another AI adjacent, he has expressed his concern and discomfort with moving Tesla further into the field of AI without having around 25% voting in the event this powerful technology goes ARI. So, yeah, we already know this. This is why it's so critical. That's why he said he needs this. He has said, right, that in the earnings call, he said that FSD and robo taxi, those are going to move forward. That's not going to be the issue. It's going to be whether or not robotics, AI, and whether or not a movement to AI is going to be something that is going to happen in time. They're going to succeed. We need this vote. That's why you invested in it. And then, yeah, this is Adam Jonas. Tesla an AI company or auto company? In our opinion, Tesla's AI potential will remain capped unless and until the voting control issue is resolved. I completely agree with this. This is extremely problematic for Tesla investors for a number of reasons, including the inability to quantify the impact. But we want to be clear to our readers that as long as the issue of blocking minority remains in limbo, we expect Tesla's share price to be dominated by the more sobering developments within the global EV industry. It's going to stay an auto company until you resolve this, and then we can start talking about Tesla being a robotics AI company.
And I think it's important for viewers and for shareholders to consider the fact that what Elon is asking for is kind of unique in the landscape of technology. It seems like companies go one of two directions. Either the CEO is doesn't have a whole lot of control over the company, and usually those are non-founder led companies, or you have founder-led companies where they actually have super voting control. And so, a company like Google, for example, it would fall into that category where Larry and Sergey still have huge amount of shareholder, voting control because they have a special class of shares that give them outsized votes. Um, Elon doesn't have that, but he is a, founding member of Tesla. Some will debate that, but you can't really argue that he's not one of the most important people on the early team, and that without him, Tesla would not be what it is today. And so, as the CEO, highly influential, visionary CEO, he does need to have some control, but he's not asking for basically a monopoly vote. He wants influence, but not final say. And I think that that's reasonable. And I just find it refreshing that there's someone who wants to find that right balance where they do have a large voice in the say of how things go, but they're not asking for that full control and those special voting shares. And so, I think that's something for people to consider in how they vote in all of this.
Nice. So the reason why this is such a big deal is because the world has changed in the last 6 months, year. Right now, the investments is going all to AI companies and robotics AI companies. But it's the AI companies that is, taking capital and infrastructure. It's a race. You can see all these massive companies that you're competing with. They're going to be in the game. Is Tesla going to be there if Elon is not able to get his comp package to be able to get the funding to be able to make this happen? Last point by Morgan Stanley is the capital game. The recent inflection in generative AI has contributed to a punctuated equilibrium in capital formation, corporate strategies, and investment decisions. Like they're just saying that because of generative AI, just how much money is being thrown in all these companies. And so, this is important for Tesla. It's becoming evident that the winners in the AI space may be the ones who can direct the greatest amount of capital at building the computational infrastructure to train the neural nets, right? This takes a lot of money and strategy. Elon is critical for this. So I'd encourage everybody to vote. Check out Alexandra Mertz at Tesla Boomer Mama. She has all the details depending on what kind of broker that's holding your shares, your Tesla shares. They'll tell you the instructions. You should have received an email now from your broker, but if not, go look at her page because she's tracking everyone, even European, Canadian, and others. Reach out to me if you need further information on how to vote. And also on X, you can look for the hashtag VotedTesla24. That is where you can find lots of answers if you have questions. So I highly encourage everybody to please vote. This is the most important event in Tesla. And the way Han said it, which is right? If this is removed, this uncertainty, you got Robotaxi, you got Tesla Optimus, you got energy. We're transitioning away from the auto industry and we're moving, and this will be the catalyst that's going to send us there, the beginnings of that catalyst. If people don't vote this, it's going to be a lot of uncertainty. It's going to sit here. They're going to just look at us as a Tesla, as a car company, because they know that Elon's one of the most important people that can actually make this transition. Any final thoughts there, Hans?
Yeah, I would just remind people of Elon's comments from Autonomy Day that he was asked how much is Elon investing in this.
Hmm.
At the time, it was just Robotaxi, but essentially the question is, how much investment is Tesla directing towards an artificial intelligence future? And Elon said it's basically our entire expense structure. That everything we do at Tesla is directed at an artificially intelligence enabled service to customers, whether that's through the bot, whether that's through the cars, whether that's through batteries, providing energy service, that all of these things are going to be enabled by, supercharged by, and just become much more valuable because of artificial intelligence. And they're doing everything in their power to make the right moves in hardware and software and investment to bring those to reality. And if that's the future that you want for Tesla, then it's important to make sure that Elon has the amount of say that's necessary for him to continue to guide that. And, one of the things that he also mentioned in that is that once full self-driving is solved, that they expect to basically operate Tesla at cash flow neutral as a company in order to invest every bit of free cash flow that they have into continuing to build out the fleet, whether that's for Optimus or whether that's for the cars. And so, that's a pretty bold move that I think there will be some shareholders who will not want to see the that level of spending on something like that. And so it's important for, Elon and the board to have the type of control over the company to be able to make an aggressive move like that in infrastructure spending, especially at, the size of the earnings and the size of the company that Tesla is today.
Yeah, there's a whole group of investors like me that want Tesla to invest heavily. This is a very unique opportunity, a once in a multi-generation opportunity where you're seeing this land grab for AI. Tesla's so well positioned right now. They've got the bot, they've got Robotaxi, they got real world AI, they got Dojo now in production, they've got all these intelligent, they've been preparing this for years. They're so far ahead than many others. They built out their compute to be, at least Elon said, second to Meta. And so they've you know what I mean? Like this is such an opportunity for Tesla to reach AGI, to get robotaxi, to get the bots, but even more than that, there's so many things like Dojo as a service, being able to turn your cars into money making, not just in robotaxi, but selling the compute back, um, selling the power back to the grid, creating more megapack factories across the world. These things Elon is going to do. And so beyond this one, the old 2018 package, it's like the next package. Wouldn't you love him to say, the board says, okay, we're like $1 trillion company today, 700, 600 million. We're going to become, a $10 trillion company, 20 trillion. Let's Elon take us there. That's crazy
Absolutely.
if you're a Tesla stockholder. And is it possible? Maybe not. But if Elon's there, maybe there's a chance. Very likely. Especially as we're talking about AGI, we're talking AI, we're talking robots. This is no longer like little tiny markets. This is the big ones.
Yeah, the biggest of the big. What's bigger than all of transportation and all of labor? There's not much.
Not much. And transportation, labor is 10 times the size of the auto market. So this is massive. Okay, thank you so much, Hans. Please vote. If you don't know how, go check out Alexander Mertz, Tesla Boomer Mama on X, and you can get instructions, or go on X and look for the hashtag #VotedTesla24. Right now, please vote. And that's really critical. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.